Easy English. Battle of Stalingrad. The Battle of Stalingrad was a key turning point in the war on the Eastern Front. The Germans had been making rapid advances into the Soviet Union since 1941, but their advance was halted at Stalingrad. The city was strategically important as it was a major transportation hub, with railways and waterways linking it to other parts of the country. The German army launched their attack on Stalingrad on August 23, 1942. They quickly captured much of the city and surrounded the remaining Soviet forces. However, the Soviets launched a counterattack in November, and were able to encircle the Germans in the city. The Germans were cut off from their supply lines and had to rely on airdrops for supplies. However, many of these supplies were lost due to the Soviet Union's air superiority. As a result, the Germans suffered from a severe lack of food, ammunition, and medical supplies. The harsh winter conditions, with temperatures dropping to -30 degrees Celsius, also took a toll on the German soldiers. Despite their desperate situation, the Germans refused to surrender. They launched several counterattacks in an attempt to break the Soviet encirclement, but were unsuccessful. The Soviet Union, on the other hand, received reinforcements and supplies by crossing the frozen Volga River. The fighting in Stalingrad was extremely brutal and intense. The Germans used flamethrowers, artillery, and tanks to try to break through the Soviet lines, while the Soviet Union employed snipers in hand-to-hand combat to defend their positions. The battle continued for several months, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. The Germans lost around 147,000 soldiers killed, while the Soviet Union suffered an estimated 478,000 to 750,000 casualties. On February 2, 1943, the German forces in Stalingrad surrendered. The remaining German soldiers were taken as prisoners of war, with only around 6,000 surviving to return to Germany after the war. The Soviet Union's victory at Stalingrad marked a major turning point in the war and is considered one of the most important battles in history. The air battle of Stalingrad was a critical part of the overall engagement. Both the German and Soviet air forces played a significant role in the battle, with the air superiority of the Soviet Union being a key factor in the eventual victory. At the start of the battle, the German Luftwaffe had a significant advantage in terms of aircraft and experienced pilots. They used their air power to provide support for ground troops, bombing Soviet positions and disrupting Soviet supply lines. The German Air Force also engaged in air-to-air combat with Soviet fighters, with some success. However, the Soviet Union gradually gained air superiority as the battle progressed. The Soviet Air Force received reinforcements and supplies by crossing the frozen Volga River, while the German Luftwaffe struggled to maintain their aircraft and provide enough fuel for their planes. The Soviet Union used their air power to support ground troops and disrupt German supply lines. Its bomber planes targeting German transportation hubs and supply depots. Soviet fighters also engaged in air-to-air combat with German planes, shooting down a significant number of German aircraft. The harsh winter conditions added to the difficulty of the air battle. Both sides had to deal with freezing temperatures and heavy snowfall, which made flying and maintaining aircraft challenging. The Soviet Union's air superiority played a critical role in the eventual victory at Stalingrad. The German Luftwaffe suffered heavy losses, with around 1,000 planes being destroyed or damaged during the battle. The Soviet Air Force, on the other hand, was able to provide crucial support to ground troops and disrupt German supply lines, contributing to the eventual encirclement and surrender of the German forces in the city. Thank you for watching. If you don't mind, please subscribe to this channel.